Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm back. Thank you all for your support, and it's been a rough 2 weeks here, but um, you guys, have been there for me, and I know I missed my first rundown ever last week, and nobody even brought it up. So. Funny story is, I would have absolutely done the rundown. However, I spilled a bottle of red wine on my laptop, so RIP to the laptop too. Anyways, let's get started here. It's a big one because this was our last week of the regular season. Couldn't tell you what week it is anymore. I guess 6 plus 7 is week 13. So it's the week 13 rundown of the RD FFL, and we have our playoff matchups at the end of this waiting for you, and you will be able to see who our loser of the year was. So let's get started here. Questionable decision making, 170 to 126.5 over me. Drew Brees not cutting it. Dalvin Cook got hurt. Tyler Lockett did just about nothing. Devontae Parker put up 31.5. Needed about 400.5 from him. And this is all while the Eagles' defense put up -1 point. So questionable decision making, big win going into the playoffs. Good for you. You finished the season 9-4. I finished 6-7. McDermott's Hermits, close game here over Frank and Mary Steiner. Frank and Mary Steiner over McDermott's Hermits, 102 to 96.8. Really close game. This is going to kill you. The -3.8 points. That's a bummer. That hurts. And the 1.3 from Tevin Coleman. When if we look down here, it's boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. So tough loss for McDermott's Hermits. Doesn't matter because he's in the playoffs anyway. You finished the regular season 8-5. Frank and Mary's finishes the regular season 7-6. Moving on. We had the Main Street Hood Rats closing out the season with a win, finishing with a 5-8 record over Cemetery Slayers, who finishes the regular season at 4-9. Unfortunately, this game didn't matter to either of you because both of you will be out of the playoffs and in the losers bracket, which also means nothing to you. Moving on. We have Eli Mouthbreeze closing out the season with a win. Finishing with a 6-7 record, the same record as me, so hold on to that little nugget there. Team Hannon finishes with a 2-11 record. That is our worst record in the league, which means Team Hannon, you are our bottom dog of the year, which means you're going to have to do the T-shirt challenge and make that social media post. So can't wait to see that. We're going to have to order you the shirt in the next few weeks here, so that'll be fun. And our last regular season matchup of the year was Tree Kills Childcare over Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God. Kind of a blowout. Not going to talk about it much here. Also, didn't really matter because the only thing that actually mattered was seeding here. If Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God had won this game, would have finished with the same record as questionable decision making, which could have altered our seeding, but doesn't matter. Big win for Tree Kills Childcare. Finishes at 10-3 with a first round bye. So. If we look at our regular season standings here, questionable decision making, Frank and Mary's Diner, New Big Pooh Big, Eli Mouthbreeze, New Big Pooh Big, and Eli Mouthbreeze with the same record, and then Team Hannon at the bottom. In the Hilltop division is Tariq Hill's Childcare, McDermott's Hermits, Dr. Momber Phys Ed God. At the bottom, we've got Main Street Hood Rats and Cemetery Slayers. If we look at points for, which happens to be our tiebreaker, unfortunately, Tyler, you have less points than me, which is why you miss out on the playoffs this year. I'm sorry, Tyler. I wish you could have made it over my team because my team fucking blows. So with that being said, let's look at our playoff bracket, and then I'll give you your matchups. There are only 2 matchups this week, as Tree Kills Childcare has a first-round bye, and questionable decision-making has a first-round bye, which means we've got McDermott's Hermits taking on New Big Pooh Big, and Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God taking on Frank and Mary's Diner. Yes, that's right. There is a 6-7 team in the playoffs this year. So we've got our 2 matchups here. It's New Big Pooh Big taking on McDermott's Hermits. Quick projections. This is before anybody makes lineup changes or anything like that. 161 to 148. However, in the Week 8 regular season matchup, it was McDermott's Hermits in a blowout, 183.5 to 114. This should be an interesting one. I know my team is 6-7. I know I lost in the regular season in a blowout. I just feel like I've got some people who are I mean, maybe besides Tyler Lockett, but I've got some people who are coming on here. So keep an eye on this one. Should be fun to watch the playoffs unfold here. And our next playoff matchup is Frank and Mary's Diner taking on Dr. Momberg Phys God. Quick projections here, 128 to 124, so a much closer matchup. In the regular season, it was Frank and Mary's Diner with a big upset win. This was when Steve-O was in his hot streak here. 155.5 to 114. And if we look down here, we've got check marks on both sides. It looks like a pretty even matchup. and again, this is before. I mean, this is with Steve having a flex spot empty. So things are subject to change here. Obviously, should be another interesting matchup. I think both of these matchups will be really entertaining this week and something to keep an eye on. So. Good luck to everyone in the playoffs besides McDermott's Hermits, because I would love to beat you. And that's all I got for you guys this week. I'm not going to go back and do 2 weeks in one. Looking forward to a fun playoff atmosphere in our group chat. And go Bills, because you guys are fucking good. See ya.